Hello everyone. So in the last video we have checked how to move this our code into the service layer, and also we have verified the functionality and ensured it works as expected as we wanted. So we are good now. But one thing I wanted to tell is basically for example, if you are going to add the staff, okay, let's say think about the add staff method that has been moved into the staff service class now. So for example, the user can go here and add any number of staffs, right? But one thing I want to tell you is the staff ID is something unique to everyone, right? Because when we are going to delete a name member, we are using the staff ID. When we are going to update a member, we are using the staff ID. So two different members can have same staff name, can have same age, but they cannot have same staff ID. So basically staff ID cannot be duplicated. So when the only way the data is being added is by using this insert post method, right? So what we have to do is when the user is inserting the data using the post method, we should not allow the user to insert same staff ID more than one time. Okay, so for example, if the user is inserting the staff ID with 3334 one time, if he hits again, we should not allow him to do it. Okay, so basically that's what we have to do. So this is a validation we have to do. So actually if we are going into this, it will take a lot of details, but I will show you a simple way of doing this validation and the importance of it. Later in the series we will see how to do it properly. Okay, so here we comes. So we know when we hit this insert route, it will come here, right, in our controller, and obviously it will go inside the method and it will go to the staff service add staff method. So if you go there, we are simply adding the staff to the list of staffs, right? That means for this. So we don't do any validation. We don't check whether their ID is already existing or not. Okay, so actually what we have to do is we have to check whether a staff with the same ID is existing in the staffs list. If a person is existing already with the same ID, we should not allow it to happen. I mean, we should prevent the duplication. So how we can do is I need to write a for loop to loop the members of the staffs list, and then I need to check each and every one staff ID. So if anyone's staff ID is matching with the incoming staff ID, that means already a staff is existing with the same staff ID. I should prevent that insertion from happening. That, in other words, I should not allow the insertion to happen. Okay, so what I will do is I will write a for loop and I will say int I is equal to 0, I is less than staffs dot size I plus plus. Sorry. Okay, then what I will do is I will take each member of the staffs list and I will take his staff ID and check if it is equal to the incoming staff ID. So that should come inside an if condition, guys. Okay, then what I should do is, okay, I will see, okay, if any existing staff ID is equal to our postman giving, that means the user passing staff ID, we should prevent it from happening. So how we can do it? That's a question. So what I am saying is, okay, for example, let's say we have to stop the application from letting it happen, and we should ensure that application again goes to this line. It is not going to this line again, because otherwise, even if this is I mean, if we break the flow here, okay, and say, okay, you shouldn't enter, then the code should not go here, because if the code goes here, the value is being added inside the list. Okay, so one good way is throwing an exception here inside the if condition. Okay, so that when you throw an exception, the program stops over there, it doesn't go beyond that. Okay, so when the user is giving a wrong entry or duplicated entry, we are going to stop the application here by throwing a runtime exception. Okay, so if you have some idea about exception, you will know what I am going to do. So I will say throw new. I will go for a client error exception because the mistake is from the client side, because they are giving a duplicated value to us. Client error exception, and I will give a status of HTTP status dot. There's something called conflict. So normally for duplication we can give conflict. So this is a error that I mean, there is an inbuilt error, I mean available errors in this HTTP statuses. So you don't have to get into this much, but just understand what I'm doing and you can simply do the same thing. And you can also type a message saying a duplicate entry not allowed. Okay, so I'm doing it inside my service class, and what will happen is if the user is giving a duplicated entry, the if condition will come here, the if condition will become true, and we will come to the exception location, and whenever an exception is being thrown, the application flow doesn't go beyond that line, so the flow stops here. Okay, so it will not be added anyway here, right? So a runtime error will be thrown here, so nothing to worry. So what I will do is I will simply open the terminal and do a build quickly. So in case I want to tell you one thing, in case while looping it, if you don't find a match, that means it's a new entry, no any matching staff ID is there, right? Or in other words, it is not a duplication scenario. This if condition will not become true at any point. So we will never throw an exception. Simply once the for loop is finished, we will simply go and add the staff to the staffs list. Okay, in that case we will be good. Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to run the application. So the application is up and running. So Tomcat started port 8080 and management application started, right? So we are good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Postman. First I'll go to the get method and I will see if there is anything existing. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong get method. Okay, this one. Okay, you see we have an empty array with the success status 200. Okay, and then I will go to the post scenario and I will send this data 3334 rows with h22, right? So it is successful, right? 200. Okay, that means I have sent the data. Again I will go to get and hit it to see whether the data has been successfully added. You can see ID 3334 rows h22 has been added successfully. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to verify my validation whether when I hit it again, when I hit the call again, that means the insertion again, or in another word, when I am trying to add another staff with the same staff ID 3334, whether I am being prevented, whether I am not allowed to do it. Okay, I'm going to check it. Okay, so that means I'm going to click send again, so that the duplicated staff ID based entry is now going to be inserted and it has to be rejected. Okay, you are seeing we are setting an error, right? 500 error, internal server error, right here. That means we are not successful on in our operation, right? Duplicate entry has not been added. If you want to verify, you can again go to the get method and click, and you don't see there is only one record, no duplicate has been added. That means second insertion has been failed, it was not successful. Or in another word, again if we see the post method, we can see the 500 internal error, internal server error. Okay, so what happened here is, according to our code logic, when we are trying to insert this staff again, so we came to the controller initially by through this routing and go to that staff, and there if we go here, we looped and we found already 3334 Mary staff was there. So it is simply throwing a client error exception. Okay, conflict. So where we can see our customized exception is, we can take the IntelliJ logs and have a look here, runtime logs. Okay, here you can see HTTP client error exception is thrown and it says 409 duplicate entry not allowed. So the same text I passed here is being printed here. Okay, and it also give you the line of the error. Okay, we are line number 29. See, so that means wherever I throw the exception, it shows it there. That means the application has come here and it thrown an exception and the code is not allowed to go further. Okay, that means we have prevented the duplicate insertion by using an exception. Okay, but unfortunately, even though we say but unfortunately, if even though if we throw an exception, the exception is shown in our terminal, okay, IntelliJ runtime terminal, but I mean run logs, but in the Postman we don't see the error, right? In the Postman we show only a 500 internal error. Our customized error was not be able to be shown in the terminal, right? Because the error we wanted to show was this 409, right? The conflict related one, right? The expected status is 409, but what we what we showed was some other error, right? And our custom string also was not shown in this Postman, right? Postman only has 500 an internal server error, no matter even we customized it. But only the benefit is while we throwing the exception, the application stopped over here. I mean that the code flow stopped over here. Application was running, code flow stopped over here. The code or the programming flow didn't go beyond that. That means we didn't add the data. But and also we were able to throw the application error or show the error logs and status in our IntelliJ run logs, not in the user side Postman side. But actually what we are supposed to do is in this kind of scenarios we should be able to show the user what is the error. You should be able to see, okay, this is conflict with 409 error, because that is what we are customizing here, this error. And also with the text we gave duplicate entry, that is what he has to show, he has to see, that is what we have to show him. But unfortunately we cannot do it. If we want to do it, there is a way. We have to make some changes in the controller code. So for example, if you want to do it, we have to ensure this method, this insert method in the controller class should be able to return the particular status in an error case, the particular error status and the error code. Okay, now our method is, or our respective functionality is returning a void. That means it doesn't return anything, it's a void method. So we have to change its return type to such a possible response returning scenario. And also in success scenario we have to return in success scenario we have to return 200 related response, and in the error scenario we have to return our customized error status and error as it is here. So we have to make some changes in the controller accordingly. But the thing is, the purpose of this tutorial is not to do that now. Okay, we will see that in the later tutorials, but we have more prioritized thing to see in upcoming videos. So for the moment we will ignore this error handling scenario for the sake of learning other things. All I wanted to show you is we needed to do this kind of validation to avoid duplicated data to be added, and one way is throwing an exception here. Okay, so for the moment I will revert it back because we are going to learn things only, and we are assuming, okay, we are not going to provide any duplicate values. So for the moment I am removing it, and we will focus on learning more on the database and repository side, how we can bring our data to bring the inserted data to repository layer and handle databases and all those things. Okay guys, then I will meet you up in the next video regarding those topics. Take care.